Watch myself. All right, here we
It's
go.
live.
All right, hello, we are live. First of all, let me give now Aiden's gonna get a little special place for me. I don't know if y'all saw. He said, "Good morning, Queen Pastor Minnassa." I'm like, yeah, just throw all those, throw all those things on there. And so Aiden, very excited. So thank you to Shining Hawk Healing, Toni at Shiny Hawk Healing, Adrian at Red Lentil Healing, Sharon at Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot, and Kelly at Dozen Cats for me for being here today, for joining with me, Constance L, Jackie J, and Aiden, and those of you that are lurking, you are more than welcome. And then I always forget, thank you to those of you who watch it later, because I end up getting like 50 views after the fact, because I know it's early for folks on Pacific time. So I appreciate you being here, and I see my daughter is here as well. And so I want to thank all of you, these great ladies. I was really touched by the thought of us all being together. That, like I see people when I'm on other shows come on with their little Bible verses and trying to pull some kind of mess. It's like, hey, you could be focusing on so many other things. But I realize that here in the US, there's a saying that 11 a.m. on Sunday is the most segregated hour in the United States, because
Oh,
we're supposed to be a
yes.
Christian nation. Hey, Renee, but we can't go to church together. So the Black Baptists and the Black Methodists and the White Baptists and the White Pentecostals, we don't sit together. We don't worship together. And yet, in this sacred space, I just, in this sacred moment, we have black and white together, younger and not so younger together, LGBTQ
I'm
and straight together.
I'm in the younger, okay.
That's right. I'm just saying.
I am.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying.
And I'm in the LB, all those letters.
I know LGBTQ. That's what I'm saying. Janet P. Hey,
So
Canadian and American.
I am representing Canadian, gay, and younger folks. Okay.
That's right. So that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. For us all, when people want to try to bring their little BS about, oh, tarot is bad, it's like, well, y'all Christians can't do this. Y'all can't cross color lines. Y'all can't cross national lines. And I'm not trying to be a hater, but I'm just wanting to honor this
Hmm.
sacred moment,
Hmm.
what this moment represents. And then, of course, the power of women when we come together, the power of women and the beauty represented in this space. So I want all these beautiful women. Let's just start with Toni, Adrian, Sharon, and Kelly. Tell us something about your show, and then tell us something about your products. So, like Toni, did you get an email from your thing that Minnassa? Well,
Toni, you're muted.
I certainly did. I got an order for my deck of cards, and I'm so very grateful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. My first sale, yay! Actually,
Oh, yay.
and I'm just like over the moon about it. I created a deck of cards, a shamanic, a spiritual deck of cards, oracle deck, and Minnassa ordered one yesterday. I'm so grateful.
Yay.
My channel is a shamanic healing channel, and I do tarot and I do chakra cards, and I really try to stay in the positive vein. I really don't do a lot of political or celebrity gossip stuff, because shaman aren't, it's sort of in our DNA. We're not supposed to gossip, but we're human. We do it anyway. So that's what we do on our channel. Adrian comes on all the time, and we have a lovely time. Sometimes we play music, and I love it when we do that. So so come on over and join us sometimes. It'll be fun.
Hi, everybody. I'm Adrian, Red Lentil Healing. I am also, like Toni, that way, a trained shaman. However, I do gossip and do political. Yes, I took that oath, but also we are human, and my nosiness as a Libra always supersedes my contract as a shaman. So there you have it. I am also a Reiki master teacher. I have Red Lentil Healing, so you can go to my YouTube channel, check it out. I also have a product line. And also, if you want to book a reading, you can just go to redlentilhealing.com.
which I did. It was an awesome reading.
Thank you, ma'am.
She's amazing.
So was that one. And so was the one next to her as well.
Yeah, and I'm also a Reiki master teacher, so we switch, we share energy that way.
All right, excellent, Sharon.
I'm, as the name says, I'm from Strawberry Rhubarb Tarot. I'm a retired teacher. And I got into this, I guess, about a year and a half ago. I started hanging with this community. Debbie from Freebird Spirit, I found community with her viewers, and then it just grew. Before that was Linda G, and I love Lena Rodriguez and Marianne from Guided Light. No, not Guided Light Tarot. Anyways, she's in Australia. So I was drawn to this. I was the year before I retired, I decided to learn tarot, and I actually took lessons from Lena Rodriguez in Australia. She's incredible. I just loved it. I've been an empath all my life. I know looking back that I did have the gifts, but I didn't know I had them. I certainly knew I was an empath. But the random thoughts that would hit me, that was spirit. And I recognize that now. So I've just loved this journey that I've been on for the last number of years. And I've found my tribe. That has been the best part of it, is I've found my tribe.
Now, Kelly, before you go, I want to interrupt because that's what I do. So okay. Aiden, you said nice to meet Toni and Adrian. And so, yes. Go on over to their stations. So this is my whole thing. I love it when Toni, Adrian, Johnny, and Sienna get together.
Yes.
I feel like I call them the cool kids of YouTube. And so they'll be on the thing, right?
I love Johnny.
When they go to do their political thing, I might just drop in and say, hey, but when they're having their questions, I feel like I'm like that little cousin, like, this is what I think. Like Johnny's asking his whole, they're not even paying attention to what's going on in the chat, but I'm like, this is what I think. Oh yes, I think, and I just so loud. But so Adrian, go on over to that channel. That's a whole, it's not a different world, but it's a different dynamic. And it's like, yes, when I grow up, I'm gonna be like those cool kids over there. I do like every once in a while, I'll get Johnny. Like he was talking about, you guys had a thing about roommates, like in Kansas, they won't let people live together. And so I said, like roommates, like Lindsey Graham and his 35-year roommate. And Johnny's like, nah, Minnassa, right? And then he's like, so I thought, okay. But yes, Adrian, go on over there. All right, Kelly, bring it.
Oh gosh, well, my story's not that long. 10 years ago, I lost my mom, and I was diagnosed with anxiety, panic disorder, and depression, and I was struggling, and I came to this community in like 2021, and I found amazing people. Andrea from Lilac Lantern gave me a reading. She told me to go to a couple of readers' rooms. I went to Debbie Freebird Spirit's room and went, oh my gosh, I could ask a question and she's going to answer me. That's fabulous. Yeah. And then the people in the chat just took my breath away with their support and their love. Honestly, never ever experienced anything like that before. Nasty Women Tarot is on. It's Lisa's birthday. I'm in the chat. I'm in my pajamas. Literally, my hair is like looking like that. And
did you have to run to the bathroom? Because
no,
you're laughing so hard.
They actually were inviting people out of the chat up onto the screen. And so I wanted to say thank you. And so I went up on the screen and I said thank you. And Allie from Heart and Soul Connected saw that I was on the screen, and she invited me to her show, which was about resilience in a time of fascism and plague. And I was there, and the wonderful and fantastic Adrian from Red Lentil Healing was in the chat cheering me on, and I will never forget that she did that for me. So kind and sweet of her. And I literally decided in that moment on that show, as I was explaining that the pandemic really put everyone else into isolation, it actually made me feel more normal, because now what I did by being isolated in my home was what everyone else was doing. So I felt like everybody else for the first time in 10 years. And I decided in that moment to start my channel. I've never picked up an oracle card before November. I love it. I'm like on YouTube 7 days a week. I've got like 250 videos on my channel. I don't have many subscribers, but I'm doing my thing and I'm loving the journey. And I feel fantastic for the first time in years. And my big test was my mother's 10th year anniversary passing was March 26th. And I thought, well, you know what? If I could get through this and not panic and be able to experience that day as it was meant to be experienced. And I did, and I survived, and I had my sister on the channel, and it was a wonderful night. And it's been amazing, and I'm loving the journey, and each day gets easier. And really the whole thing is just about my journey as I continue to grow and as I continue to heal. And each day a little more peace comes into my heart, and that's A-okay with me. And I learned how to read tarot by Nancy Jean from Nancy Jean's Garden. I've been doing that since January, and I'm just having a blast.
Kelly, I didn't realize our anniversaries were so close, because I knew it was 10 years for you. I didn't know when, because my mom's her 10 year was March 14th and your mom's was 20th.
Wow.
Oh, Adrian, I didn't even know your mom had passed away. Wow. This is such.
We were so close together, Kelly.
Yeah.
Oh no, I was thinking
of that either.
I didn't realize it was so close.
Yeah.
Do y'all want to see a picture of my mama? Because I happen to have it right here.
We're ready for it.
And I didn't do that. I didn't do that intentionally, but it's here from the show, and I haven't hung it up yet, which is really bad, but I can't find the right spot. But this is a picture of my mother and I when I was 2. And hopefully I'm not giving you a big glare there.
No,
so
it's
that's
good.
me and my mom.
That's awesome.
That is very good.
Wow, she's beautiful.
Now that's the way my mother went to work every day. Seriously, all joking aside. So I was there to get my photo taken, as you did back in the day. And I lost my marbles because my mama was going to leave me. And I was like, no. And so she had to stay and take the photo with me. But she was literally going to work like that. So.
Excellent. Wow. So I am Minnassa, the Diva of Divination. I welcome all of you to this channel. Wayne, thanks for taking a break. I saw Sunny L, a new person. Welcome. Renee, I can just blame this on you. This is your fault because I was trying to not do this and she kept pestering me about it. And so here we are. And so today's show is, of course, the day before Mother's Day. This is about honoring the mother, that mother energy, the divine feminine, that sacred aspect of ourselves. And so that's why I thought, let's just rock it with all these amazing women. And so all of their shows, links, or channel links are in the show notes or however you put it together. Now, Adrian, I don't know if you know, the last time I did my show, your show was the channel of the day. And so this channel of today are 2 channels. One is Lily Bennu, of course, my daughter, and that link is in there. And then Zina's place, because I love me some little Lisa. She's been singing her little voice. I'm like, all right. So
Zina's place. That's Jane the Secret. That's her sister-in-law.
Oh, is it?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I knew that. And I'm going to put this link in here. I've already put it in there. This is to my daughter's GoFundMe. My daughter's going to Africa. She got some bad teeth from her dad's family, right? And she needs to get these 4 wisdom teeth pulled. It's $1,000. So if you can help, if you can't, send healing, right? Because we still need that whole area to be taken care of. But she's going to Africa in August to teach English in South Africa. And this is her GoFundMe. And so now before we move forward with the cards, Sharon.
Yes.
I have a proposition for you. I thought we get a little bit of nasty tarot going on here. So my next show,
yes,
which is in 2 weeks, I'm calling it the crone energy or the gray hair game.
Oh, I'm in.
All right, because I got the next you, Sherry, and Allie. All right. Well, see, that was excellent. So I'll send you the link for that too. We're gonna have gray hair game, really representing that crone energy, and the rise.
I even have a nose for it.
There you go. I'm just saying.
No.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
You're getting there.
I don't even have to put a fake nose on.
Set up when we would do that. So
This
very
is-
good. So thank you.
This is the Grandpa George nose, my great grandpa.
Well, thank you for accepting my proposition
Oh,
publicly.
honey. Honey.
So, ladies, let's talk about Mother Earth. And so, what are some of your favorite either cards that represent Mother Earth or Mother Gaia, or your favorite divine feminine? I will say in the last 6 months, the divine feminine energy has come for me like a horny man, right? You know, just boom. Like, okay.
Oh, she's a gal after my own heart.
There we go.
Oh,
You know, ladies move in a different way. Ladies, men just be like, I want you. And it's like, okay.
yeah, no, ladies have much more finesse.
Correct. Ladies, that's right. That's how my wife got me. That she was so sweet and kind and just, I'm married to who this cray lady I got, right? I'm a keeper ass. Oh, sorry. For entertainment purposes only when it involves cussing.
I haven't heard that before. A keeper ass. Wow.
That's right. Here we go. See, we're already getting in trouble.
In my book.
Tony's taking names down.
Tony,
making a list.
All right, so let's start with you.
I'm just getting thoughts that I should write down. I mean, there's a place between your kitchen and your dining room or something that's going into your kitchen, Kelly, where your mom says that the picture should probably go. Was she a cook? Did she love?
My mom wasn't. I'm like filled with goosebumps. Don't do that to me, Tony. Like a surprise like that. Yes, my mom was. Well, she wasn't like a chef or anything, but she was an amazing cook, and we miss her cooking desperately.
Right. That's where you should put the picture between the kitchen and the dining room, so that when you go into the kitchen, you're always reminded of her anyway. Yes. But that's a really good place to honor your mom, and I'm getting chills on that. Yeah. So now you have your place.
All right, now I'm getting it too. All right, that ancestor energy just came. Boom. Very good. That also probably means that my ancestors are here too. And I want to tell you, my little skull, my little iron ore skull, is very little today. He's like, I want to be on the show. So here he is. It's like a little skull. So what is it? It's tiger eye and then tiger iron. So that's what. And he's from Sedona.
Oh, Sedona.
All right, let's look at the cards. Let's start with you, Kelly. What cards do you have that your favorite cards are help you represent the divine feminine, the Mother Gaia, all those things?
Okay, so for my energy cards for like Mother Earth, kind of, I don't know why this card speaks to me, but it does. So this is the Sacred Forest Oracle. It is made by Denise Lynn. Come on, Toni.
There you go.
This deck just speaks to me. I mean, it has since the day I opened it, which I love. Okay, so that's my Earth energy kind of.
And I have Native Spirits by her, Denise Lynn.
I have those
awesome
too.
deck.
It is awesome deck, for sure. The Mother Gaia one is difficult for me because I usually, like right now, just for example, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 decks on the table because I just never know what I'm going to do, right?
Okay.
And most of my stuff is like it just comes out healing, but I would have to say, and this might be odd, I go sort of between my postcards from Spirit. They never, I don't want to say it because then it's going to, but like they never fail to get the message exactly to the person that needs it whenever I need it to do that for me. Do you know what I mean? And I love them for it. They're not exactly Mother Gaia kind of cards, but they're such, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're like a big message, right?
Oh.
And it's beautiful. And there's just something about the way that it flows and it's never missed. It's always right on the money for me. And I have a deck that I use, I've decorated people's houses with this deck. Don't even ask. That's the craziest thing ever, but it's the color cards. right? So this is the sacred language of color. And I use this for healing. I use it for energy. I use it for earth. I use it for decorating. Who knew? It really was a thing in the chat one day. I swear, that's how I'm not making that up. I also use it when I do my readings. I do a sweet dreams reading at nighttime. What you need to do to sort of put stuff away to be able to have a peaceful night's sleep. And I use these for that as well. And in the booklet, this was written by Ina Segal. And she healed herself a broken back, developing this technology from the color cards. And there's a booklet that comes with the cards that gives you an exercise for each color as to how you can heal yourself, which I just think is amazing. So I use these for almost everything. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Now, Toni, you had the copycat card, so let's go to you.
I wanted to show you the box for the Sacred Forest. That's Lynn. It's really beautiful. And it has the tree. And trees are just the bomb. I love trees.
I'm surrounded by.
So that is a beautiful, beautiful deck. And then there's this deck called the Flower Medicine Oracle deck, which is so beautiful. And it's by Kathy Nichols. And the cards are just amazing. She includes this little color swatch thing to sort of tell you what the colors are for her flowers. And she's painted all of these flowers.
I love it.
And it's gold leaf and just really, really pretty. And I think about that, and this feels very feminine. This energy feels extremely feminine. And it just really just.
Will you tell the name again? Sharon is what, or can you put it in the?
I'm salivating.
The name again, yeah. Sharon salivating.
The Flower Medicine Oracle deck.
Okay, Flower Medicine. Oh, okay.
You can't get my specs there.
So Adrian says he only has 4 tarot decks. I'm like, dude, get off this channel because that will not be the case.
No, you'll
get there.
I have, yes, it's an addiction.
I don't think I have as many as you do, Kelly, actually. I know how many you have, Adrian.
How many do you have?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I may have 10. I don't know.
Yeah, and Adrian,
that's about it. But I mean, these that I love the Psychic Tarot Oracle deck by John Holland. And you can see I've just like, these are just all beat up because I use them all the time. And they're just so expressive for me because it has the chakras, it covers
colors, beautiful.
Covers the spiritual aspect, it covers the physical aspect and all of that. So
thank you, Jackie J. Jackie J, put your deck name in there.
The Psychic Tarot Oracle deck.
And she got the Flower Medicine Oracle deck.
Okay,
it's very good. And then the last one that I have that it's sort of a brand new one is called the Herb Crafters.
Oh, I got that just now. Yes, look, I'm so excited. Sorry. It's like show and tell with Minnassa. I love it.
Right.
I love this deck. Totally speaks to me. I love this thing.
Yeah, I am still trying to figure it out because the curandara and all of the different, it's in Spanish, so I'm at a loss here. I don't know. But I'm working through this deck. I love the Herb Crafters deck because it speaks to me as well. So those are my decks.
All right, so Adrian, I'm going to have you go next, but how do I make someone a moderator?
You're going to have to do it on YouTube. So I think you're watching to your right. Yes. Then next to the person's name, they'll have 3 little dots. Click on the 3 dots, and then there should be an option that says add as moderator.
I'm looking at my YouTube channel, but I don't see their little dots.
You have to go into the chat.
Go into the chat. Hover over their name. There's 3 dots when you hover over their name. Click on the 3 dots. Then when you do that, there will be an option that says like block, timeout, add as moderator.
Okay, so I see that.
And then click the add as moderator.
But I just have put user in timeout or blocked user.
So what you may have to do is after the stream is over,
Okay, do it.
Or if you're really good at multitasking, open up another browser, go to your channel, copy and paste it into your settings where you can.
All right, too much for now. So Jackie J, I got my eye on you.
You can
for
also
being
do
a
it on
moderator.
you can do it on your phone as well.
I will get it. Hey, see Megan,
Right.
good to see you. All right, Adrian, let's see you talk about your cards. And hey,
And how
Jay.
many decks? I'm waiting. How many decks do you have?
Oracle, I think I counted when we did an Oracle deck read through on Toni's channel. I think I have like 57 Oracle decks. And then Tarot somewhere like 70 something tarot.
Yeah, I'd have to take, I'd have to take, because I only have like 5 around me right now, but I got a whole bunch over there. Okay, Adrian, go.
I just a minute. I am house sitting. I'm pet sitting. I need to let the dogs in.
Okay.
Who let the dogs in? Wrong song.
I knew that was happening.
All right, Adrian, what are your decks or your cards that speak to the divine feminine or Mother Gaia?
One of the things that I really like just for the Mother Earth aspect is the Spirit Animal Oracle. Just obviously shamanism speaks to it for me from a personal perspective. What I love too is that it really helps people. It helps me help people identify not the spirit animals so much as in how the Western world kind of bastardizes the use of the term spirit animal, but it actually goes in a lot deeper and goes into the psychological aspects as well. So it brings everything together. And then another deck that I really like, admittedly, I don't use this deck as often as I should, but the African Goddess Rising.
Get out of here. I'm looking right at that deck. It's right over there. Yes.
There's no way I can memorize. Even Johnny, we just can't memorize all the card meanings but so when I do use it, I still have to use the guidebook, but it's worth it. Very, very good deck.
Yes, and I love me some Abiola Abrams. All
Wow.
right, Sharon.
Hi.
I want to know what chakra cards you use, Adrian, after. You can tell me that.
Oh, okay.
You have beautiful chakra cards.
I have several, so you have to narrow down which one.
Now,
Well, because of Adrian, I actually bought a chakra tarot deck.
I don't have all my decks here. I only brought like about 8. So
Sharon's like, hello.
Okay, so this is this one really reminds me of my mother. This is called The Language of Letting Go by Melody Beattie. And
you know what, Sharon, get out of here. I watched Long Man Tarot yesterday.
Yes.
And he had a lady named Candy that has a show called, I think, Soil and Soul.
Yeah.
And they went through, so she was talking about how the cards helped her. I just ordered that deck yesterday.
Well, I don't even know how old this is. This was my mother's deck, and she passed 7 years ago. So it's I've got some angel oracle cards, and I've got about 3 or 4 decks of hers that I inherited. But I love this deck. So that's my number one, that reminds me of my mother. The other one that I've got others, at home, but this one, the Witch's Tarot deck, I just love it because it's all women.
Adrian has that one.
Yeah, I love this deck. So, and if you're just learning Rider-Waite, it's based on the Rider-Waite, so it wouldn't be hard for you to use it for new tarot readers. But and this is not really so much connected to my mother, but I have this deck. Okay, where's the lid? The Spirit of Animal Oracles.
All right, here goes Toni.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah.
And I haven't had it for very long, but I just love it.
Thank you, Adrian.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I was thinking Adrian.
Now I just cut, and here's the hummingbird.
Wow.
Beautiful artwork on it.
That is gorgeous.
Isn't it? Oh, it's just amazing. Here's the swan.
Gorgeous.
Just cutting here.
Gorgeous. Jackie, you're being an awesome moderator. Thank you. Dropping all the cards.
Now I cut and the hummingbird came up. So I just want to read it because it says miracles. Hummingbird means miracles. You are the joy bringer. You bless the world with positivity and love. Energy soars on your shining wings. Spread the miracle of happiness.
How beautiful.
A beautiful card. Anyways, that's all I can show you with right now with what I've got.
Well, perfect. Perfect. So I'll share mine. So first of all, don't forget to hit the thumbs up, and thank you all for being here. So I shared this deck before, the Mythical Goddess Tarot, which I got at Sedona. And so again, it's all women in the deck. And so I love the images. One representing the world card is Gaia. Here we go.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And then, of course, I think a goddess who gets a bad rap because she's a badass is Kali.
Kali Ma.
And then I think it's very interesting that part of the challenge oftentimes is that the moon goddesses, there's that divine feminine, but when the world went to the sun gods, we went to that divine masculine way, and then that masculine toxic. But Japan does have Amaterasu, who is the sun goddess. And so I love those images.
What's it called again? The goddess?
It's called Mythical Goddess Tarot.
Thank you.
And it's by Sage Holloway, and the artist is Catherine Skaggs. Well, I'm going to keep going because it's my show.
Absolutely.
Go, girl.
So now, Keepers of the Light Oracle. My cowgirl, I have all of his because I love his. I love me some of him. Is this image right here, the Shekinah.
Oh, beautiful.
So Right Color was doing a thing. They were talking about the High Priestess. And he had Lori, is that her name? Positive Tarots?
Yes, Lori. Yeah.
Lori, the way of positive change.
Correct. Say it again.
Lori of the Way of Positive
Change.
Yes, Lori, the Way of Positive Change. And he had her, and they were talking about the High Priestess, and he would say that in Kabbalah, and he said a name like that. And I thought, yes, that's a Shekinah. That, you know, in the Old Testament, if you read it, because it's hard to read, they're always battling with this female goddess. They can't, like, everyone's like, we're all down with God. And they're like, oh, no, we want Asherah, right? And they're always worshiping her, and they're always trying to destroy her things because, yes, this is, the Shekinah is God's wife. You know, and we knew that divine feminine essence. And of course, I had to bring back Kali Ma.
Kali Ma.
So I'll share one more, and then we'll talk. We can move forward. So here's a thing that you wouldn't think, the Earth Warriors. So anything by Alana Fairchild, I'm like addicted to. The Earth Warriors Oracle. And these goddesses came for me, like I was saying at the beginning, like some horny men. Like, hey, baby, you working with us. I said, okay, fine. So of course, this beautiful goddess, Ixchel.
Oh. Wow.
And then of course, Durga. And then this is Lakshmi. And so those three goddesses, and then of course, I got my girl right here, which is Kuan Yin, the Kuan Yin Oracle, who her and I work together. So every once in a while, and I be trying to do everything and being all freaked out and having a spaz about stuff, this card will come. Call on me, girl. I can many-handed gods. But so back to the Earth Warriors, then I always love it when an African goddess is represented.
Wow, that's
So
beautiful.
this is Nana Buluku.
That's really pretty.
Absolutely gorgeous.
And then to have, again, always wanting to represent the First Nations here in North America, to have the indigenous divine feminine in there. Okay, and I do have one more. So this is my Dreams of Gaia tarot. And so this is a tarot because it has a major arcana and a minor arcana, but it is not based on Rider-Waite.
Oh.
So you can't get like the 7 of water out of this deck and then you're gonna do a reading on it, okay? But these are cards from the major arcana. So the 4 card in the major arcana is the Emperor. Well, the 4th card here is the Mother.
Mm.
And then this is for me and you, Sharon, and because we're all headed that way, which is the Crone card, which is card 6.
I think I'm already
there. I've had white hair since age 30, so I've been a crone for quite a while.
That's right. And then this card, which of course I always think of, this is the Queen of Earth. So the Queen of Pentacles or coins, always representing that powerful divine feminine.
Beautiful.
Wow,
Beautiful.
Amazing. That's some work.
The way that I saw that deck is I had a woman who used to do my Reiki. She would always pull a tarot card. Always pull a tarot. So first of all, how awesome. And you guys in the chat are just super. Thank you so much. And again, Jackie J, thank you for just dropping that information. I really appreciate you. So let's talk about Mother's Day. So years ago when I was a new mother, so my daughter was less than 1 year old, I was so happy to be able to go to the Mother's Day event at the church. And my mom was on my last nerve. I mean, I was like, we on this church property, but you on my last nerve. And it was obvious that she was on my last nerve.
Oh dear.
So a lady at the church came up to me, and she was probably about my age. So I would have been like 30. And she was probably like my age or close to my age. And she said, I would give anything to be upset with my mother right now.
Oh. Now,
I was not receptive to that at that time. And I was like, well, I will loan you this bitch, right? I'd be like, well, we can work out some agreements and you can have my mother for a day or two, right? But now with her at 86, realizing the gift that I've had of her those 30 years. And that when I first met my wife, I'd be like, well, in 30 or 40 years, and my mom dies, or 30 or 40 years. And finally she had to say, your mom don't got 30 or 40 years left. Unless some kind of magical medicine something comes. And so I had to really come to grips that my mother was going to die in my lifetime. And it was hard. I was like, well, she had a heart attack at 60. And they told me her heart was so badly damaged, they didn't know what to do. And I said in my heart, you can't die. I haven't graduated from seminary. Lily hasn't even started kindergarten. I had this whole list of stuff for her to do. And so thank God 26 years past that date, I still have her. But I'm going to ask, and so let's start with you, Toni, that you said on your video about your prayer tree. This is the month of May, your birthday, Mother's Day, and your mom's birthday. So talk about having your mother. You are, you're not 25 anymore. I know 27, but still. Talk about having your mother at this time. Megan, my condolences. 91, that's right. Megan, the C is saying, my mother transitioned in February 2021. She was 91. She's with me all the time now. And yes, I have my grandmother with me, who I never met. My mother didn't even meet her, really. So she died when my mom was really young. Yes, we don't get prepared. Yes, Jackie and Scott sending you guys love because you had a recent loss of your mother. So Toni, talk about what it's like to have your mom at your age. Mute. I think you're muted, Toni.
I said, yeah, you could probably add like 40 years to that. 27. Yeah, my mom, she'll be 85 this year. And it was, it was really rough during the pandemic because it was sort of like, you don't know what's going to happen. It's like, well, she could pass and I can't get there. Right. So that was the thing that I had to sort of come to grips with, was the letting go and being able to just allow it to be the way it is in this moment. I have her and I'm grateful for that. And I can't, tomorrow is not promised. Yesterday is gone. All we have is right now. So I try to keep that in my mind all the time. I try to keep that. I mean, there is no death. We know that. We all know that as spiritual workers, there is no death. There's only transition. So we don't lose that person. We don't lose that spirit. We don't lose that soul connection. We only lose that physical connection. And that is what we miss. So coming to grips with the possibility of not seeing her in the physical was something that I had to really work on, to sort of let go and allow and allow and allow. And, you know, and allowing is really hard for humans because we are always so controlling. We want to control every moment. We want to control other people. So that's the thing that's really hard about that. And for people who have lost their parents and are, you know, and are in a space of, well, are they okay? Or will I be okay? And the answer is always, yes, you will be okay. And your parent is okay. They're better than okay. They're better than they were. So I'm getting chills on that. So the process of allowing is the hardest part. So that's what I work on every day.
I know my mom, I didn't get this. My mom's in California and I'm here in the Mid-South. And I mean, I just thought, oh, if I don't get to hug her, you know, if I don't get to hug her and she passes away from this stupid COVID, but still hanging in there. But yeah,
Yeah, she did get sick while, you know, just a short time ago, and she was in the hospital, and I didn't know whether she was going to make it. So that was really, you know, that was really a test to not be able to move, not be able to go, and sort of come to grips with the possibility. So that's the hardest part, and that's the one we fear the most, is that actual moment. And there's nothing you could do, you know. You just have to allow it to be the way it is. And it's sad, and feel all the feelings that you want to, that you have to feel, and go through it and move through it. But I'm preparing myself to do that because she is 85. So, you know, inevitability is a factor.
Indeed. And so many people in the comments talking about, I miss my mom. And yes, they're agreeing with you that she's only gone in physical, but I want my mommy. I see, it's very true. And that, yeah. And Tracy Ralph, thank you for being here. I really appreciate having you here.
Toni,
and Viviani, very good. Go ahead, Adrian.
We give you some advice, and any advice of anybody that's got a mother, and then your mother's aging, and I just heard something that I just heard you say. My best friend just lost his mom last week.
Oh my God!
And matter of fact, something you said just made me pick up the phone and text him and check in on him. And I remember when my mom was diagnosed with cancer, I had to deal with her mortality at that point, and I spent a lot of time preparing myself. And it's she had beat the cancer, she was fine, and then died suddenly. Something that they were trying to do to treat the cancer, misdiagnosed, and she passed away. And I remember standing over her hospital bed, and I was like, damn, Jane. I was kind of embarrassed. And then I left the hospital bed and I spent so much time preparing. It doesn't matter how I reacted, how I feel. It doesn't matter. There is nothing you can do. And Kelly, I don't know if you feel the same. There is nothing you can do. And
you're gonna make me cry. I totally feel that. Yeah.
And my best friend was saying his mom fell Christmas Day, and he spent months preparing. And the first thing he said was, Adrian, it makes sense what you said now. I spent all that time preparing, and it didn't matter, because how you feel, how you're going to react. Even at that time, I was awakened and on my path to shamanism. Grief is grief. It is a human experience. It does not matter if their physical incarnation leaves and it's the spiritual. None of that means shit. It just doesn't. Focus on the only advice I would give to you or to anybody is don't even try to prepare, because it's a waste of time. Just enjoy the moments.
That's it.
There's nothing, because I promise you, I was going to be collected. I was going to be whatever. And I remember my sister and my dad looked at me like, because I had a reaction that is not typical of me, and it changed me. So just don't worry about. And we want to, because that's the human thing, Toni. Like you said, we're humans. We want to be in control. be in control of not knowing that you're not going to be in control.
Yeah. The only thing we can do is allow. The only thing we can do is allow it to be the way it is. And, you know, when my dog passed away, I was a mess. So you can imagine how I'm going to be
it's
when my
about
mom goes. But I just like, oh my God, I was just a sniveling mess.
It's
And
about that
I'm like
bond,
that.
though, right?
It's hard.
Like that
It's
bond
so
with your mom is a unique bond for most people, and I think that that's the part that makes it so difficult. Not saying that your bond with your father is not, but I mean, you came from your mother.
And Callie, that's what Francisco said when I was talking to him. My best friend lost his mom.
Yeah.
He lost his dad about 15 years ago. And he was like, it is so different when it's your mom.
Yes.
It absolutely
It
is.
is
Absolutely.
so different. And I'm blessed. I still have my father. He's like my best friend now.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, oh.
I think what people don't understand when you lose your parents, like your friend is saying, the whole family dynamic, literally, like that, is different. And so you're not only grieving the loss of your parents, you're grieving the loss of that bond, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of us, because we're human, we have a tendency to take advantage of the people that care about us the most. So we sit there and do our own little life review and think about, you know, what little brats we were because, you know, we might have talked back to our mama when we shouldn't have, or whatever the case may be, right? And fathers are amazing, but they're not moms.
Yep.
Right?
Totally different.
And that dynamic is really, really hard to wrap your head around when you're already, because you literally, I mean, I use this analogy, it's kind of crazy, but I mean, if you've ever been in the supermarket or in a store and you heard the announcement, right? We've got a little boy or a little girl wearing a blue top and red pants and, you know, about 6 years old, got red hair. And if mom or dad is in the mall, can you come and get him or her, right? Well, now you're that little kid and they're making the announcement, but no one's freaking coming for you. And that's the thing that, like, I mean, it just breaks my heart. I cannot get past that. No one's ever going to come find me again, right? And that's what I mean by the dynamic shifting, because all of a sudden you literally are like, uh-oh, who am I and who do I belong to?
Yeah, my dad passed 13 years ago, and he wasn't that involved in our life anyway, because my mom separated from him and then finally divorced when I was 6, and I had 3 siblings younger than me. So his passing didn't hit me that as hard. But when my mom passed, it was a gift. I was there when she passed. And my siblings weren't. They were too afraid to be in the room, you know, they'd have to travel and be there, and they didn't. And you know what? They lost out. Because there was my mom, you know, hooked up to all these machines, you know, and she was not conscious. And but just as she was passing, what happened was, I mean, I'd gone into the room and I knew she was in the room, but because I was so distraught, I couldn't figure out exactly where she, I could feel her. I actually could see her, but you know, anyways, I don't know why I'm talking about that, but so, I know why I'm talking about that. Just as she was dying, she came back into her body. And you know how old people's eyes are usually quite dull, you know, they've lost that zest and everything. Well, she came back in her body, and her eyes, her beautiful brown eyes, just lit up. And I thought, you know, my siblings, you guys, you just missed this miracle. So she's lit up and she's looking up. I know she's seeing her grandpa George because she'd been talking about him all week. And her death was sudden. It was unexpected. Again, it was a hospital error. And it was just a magical moment seeing her pass.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just,
yeah.
You know.
So anyone don't be afraid to be in the room.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't in the room. I couldn't do it. But I've been at the hospital.
Well, everybody's different. And some people who are dying, some people who are passing don't want you to be in the room, right?
Right.
So
they'll wait for you to leave.
No,
wait for you to leave.
My mother tried. That heifer tried. I think she thought we left because I was coming into the hospital my dad was there, but he was in another room. So she didn't know he was in another room. And my sister had left. And as soon as I got to her floor, I heard code blue, take off running.
Yeah.
I'm screaming, Mom, I'm here. Dad's here. And I grab my dad and pull her. And they did 3 pumps. Boom, boom, boom. She came back. And I was like, okay. And then by the time I called my sister, it was very calm. I said, hey, you may want to come back. Heads up. My sister comes back. My sister hadn't even been back 5 minutes. We're surrounding her. And then she passed because she needed us around her to know that.
Well, I'm taking courage from this. One of the things that my mother wanted me to do was to do her funeral. I'm a preacher and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm going to be a F mess. I'm not going to be doing that.
Yeah.
But maybe I will just take that courage. I had to do my aunt's funeral, which was very hard for me, when they told me. I remember, again, like
I'm a pastor and I've done 3 of them, so I know how you feel. It's family members have asked me to do it, right, for my cousins that took their lives, and so 2 firstborn cousins, my first cousins, standing in the same church with the same people 1 year after the other for the same reason, staring at that same crowd, and I cannot make this up. I mean, you're all connected. I couldn't lie to you anyway, so you can all check it. Ask Billy and Adam if I'm telling the truth. I drove up in the parking lot for my cousin Adam's service. He'd been at the funeral home laid out for 3 days, right? I drove up the morning of the service, 15 minutes or 20 minutes before it started. My mother was standing outside, and she looked at me, and I went, "You're kidding me, right?" I got out of the car. I walked towards her, and she's like, "Your uncle wants to speak to you." I said, "Mom, I can't." Like, that's how much time I had to prepare to stand in front of a church of 300 people and do that. Was literally when I drove up. They thought they asked me, but they didn't, obviously.
Oh,
They were stuck, and then, but it was awful because I had to face the same people. But I do apologize because I cut you off. But I have a really awesome story that I would love to tell, because I think it'll pick this up just a little bit, and it's not so heavy for everyone.
Well, let me stop you for a minute, because I want to say there is a real honesty in this heaviness. Yeah. That, light and bright. Yeah. We're talking about, your mothers have passed away. Toni and I are going to have our mothers pass away. But, Lily and Toni, I don't know your children's name, but they're going to be having this same conversation someday as well. And so let's just spend the moment in there. And Sherry, I do want to welcome you. And she's talking about that her hospice nurse told me it could happen anytime. And that's true. Like my mom lives in LA. People, thank God she's not trying to get on the bus or the way they drive around here. I wouldn't even be trying to do it. I'd be like, I don't got enough faith right there. But that death, as Toni said so elegantly, is a part of life. And that in a world that wants to gloss over everything, that we can even get on these tarot channels and be all, light and bright. And yeah, I'm down with that. I'm not trying to have let's all talk about the devil card and death card all day, right? It's like, when those cards come up my reading, I'm like, I try to be all mature about it, like, yeah. So, yeah. And so, yes, I will take in heart from all of you and these great people in the chat, and I'm going to do my mom's service. Now, Kelly, bring us up.
I just want to say, Toni, thank you for letting me share may I give some advice. Thank you for allowing me to do that, because you could have been like, no. And I'm like, okay, cool. I understand.
No, I took the advice too. I need it too.
I just want to thank you for that.
I just want to comment on Sherry's comment about that. It could be any time that her mother passes. And she says the last thing I told her was, I love you and we will be okay. My mother was in the hospital, but the reason she died was completely unrelated and totally the neglect and stupidity of the staff. And anyways, I had to go for my own surgery. This was in Kelowna, which is the interior of British Columbia, where Vancouver is. And I lived, close to Vancouver. So I had to go for my own surgery. And I said to my mom, I'm saying goodbye to her at the hospital bed. And I said to my mom, they say 2-week recovery, but it's going to be a week, Mom. I'll be back here in a week. Don't you worry. So anyways, I hugged her and kissed her and told her how much I loved her. And then I turned around and got to the end of the bed, and I had this overwhelming feeling to go back and repeat. So I turned around and I told her again how much I loved her and hugged her and kissed her. And that was the last time I saw her, that she was conscious. So, so a week after, I'm a week into my recovery, and anyways, the hospital phones, and I thought it was because they're going to say your mom can go home now, and then I totally got this news that she was going to die anytime, and I had to rush up there. But anyways, just follow your gut. When I had this overwhelming feeling to turn around and do it again, I'm glad I followed spirit.
Yeah.
I really, really, really.
Indeed. This is, Kelly, I'm going to get you straight, but this to me is the power of women, the telling of the stories, even in the chat, how they're like, no, I got you. And this is what happened, but I'm still here. And this is how you deal with grief, and sending hugs. This is the divine feminine at work. This is the divine feminine alive. And I am so happy. And I just want to thank you, Adrian, for sharing this. Adrian, this is a sacred space that anytime you're with me, you can share. Right, this is a sacred space, and so thank you.
I just want to say my mother's here, and behind me is one of her favorite sisters, my aunt who died last year at 95, and so they're behind me here. I just they're great women. They were great role models.
How wonderful! How wonderful! Yeah. All right, Kelly.
My story, the reason why I said that I would pick it up is because I don't know how I got so lucky to have this experience. But I share this because I know that many people that are in this community, are connected, questioning their connectedness, feeling like they're connected, but they're not really sure of the signs and symbols. And so I share this story because I hope that it helps you to remember that, as we were all saying earlier, they don't leave you, right? About a week and a half before my grandmother died back in 2008, I noticed that I started to see 111 and 1111 all the time. Every time I looked at the clock, it seemed like it was that time. I had no idea what it meant. My grandmother died sometime after 1. I made my mother try to find the death certificate to find the time and couldn't get it. And anyways, moving on. That was in 2008. And my mother got sick in 2010. I'm still seeing 1111 and 111, like not every day, but every so often it goes in fits and spurts. And now my mom's really sick, and we're going to the hospital, and it's 2.5 hours one-way trip. And so I go with my sister, I go with my aunt, and every time we're in the car, I'm like, it's 111, it's 411, it's 911. They're like, we get it, shut up, nobody cares, because they don't understand, right? My mom comes out of the hospital, and we're at our house, and the next door neighbor invites us over. They all sit in the garage. It's very random. And this woman, my mom's neighbor, starts telling us this story where her brother died at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she gets woken up. And my mom's like, "Tell him your story, honey." And I'm like, "Oh, now you're a believer because you've had 2 blue." Oh, like that's Labatt's Blue Canadian beer. Sorry. And I'm like, "Now you're a believer, Mom. That's awesome." So anyways, it was a thing, and the whole family knew it, but like nobody knew what it meant, and nobody really bought into it. Okay, so my mom passes away, and it's nowhere near the 11th, and it's nowhere near 1 o'clock or anything like that. And I keep saying 111 and 1111. And one of the reasons why I developed anxiety, panic disorder, and depression was because of the situation or the circumstances around my mother's passing, which had nothing to do with her physical passing. It was the outside stuff. And so my mother was cremated and put in an urn for 2 and left at the funeral home for 9 3/4 years. And we had to literally have a legal battle to get her remains back. And so when we finally did that, which was amazing, we had a service where she wanted to be laid to rest. And I decided to write a little thing to say. And I decided to use like rhythms of time, because that was the thing that was my painstaking hurdle that I could never get past. And so I started with the years, and then I went to the days, and then I went to the hours. And the last thing that I wrote was the months. And how many months do you think it was?
11.
111 months is how long we waited.
Wow.
And then it's literally in my phone. My hand to God, I'm not making this up. While I was writing that, I seen 1111 and 111, and I wrote it in my thing and said, Mommy, thank you for the 1111 and the 111 confirmation, because now I know that you are exactly where you need to be. And so pay attention to those little signs, those little synchronicities, because if you've lost your parent or your mom or your grandma or an auntie, someone who made you feel like they were there, like a mom figure to you, they're always with you. Always, always, always with you. Always with you.
Which is very true. We are at the hour, and I want to honor that time. I think I had initially talked about asking our two beautiful shamans to do a healing or energetic work for Mother Gaia. Not that she doesn't need it, and I'm sure she feels our energy. But I think maybe we could just close the show with maybe just a healing for all of us, whether our moms are here or not. To just the healing of the mother energy. So I think it is still the same thing with Mother Gaia, but I want to share a story very similar. I never met my grandmother. She died. My mother was 11 months and my mother's youngest sister were 2 months. So right on top of the other. And her older siblings got to know her, but I never got to meet her. And her name is Mary Smith. So, couldn't be any more simple than that. But there have been times I went to church one time. I was my first marriage was just very unhappy, because I was unhappy on the inside and I started it that way. But I went to pray at my little spiritual church, and the lady said, well, because I thought my husband doesn't know that I love him and I want him to know that I love him. And so we started to pray, and the lady was like, and all of a sudden, like, her voice changed. She's like, you are not alone, and I am with you in the midst of it. And I was like, and I looked on her face, and her face, still her. But I thought, okay, she's channeling someone. I got that much. And I listened, and then I took a look at her name tag, Mary. And that's how my grandmother comes to me very often, by someone with the name Mary. Even Adrian knows I've been interviewing for this promotion, and I'm in there. And I just thought, you know what? I'm just going to let it all out. So I'm just talking and enjoying myself. And I'm starting to think, like, well, maybe I'm just being too much. And then a lady who's one of the housekeepers came into the door by accident. And of course, her name is Mary.
That's awesome.
I see you, Granny.
Well, ladies, this was lovely. I do have to go. I'm actually supposed to be in a class right now.
Well, Sharon, thank you so much for being here.
I'm
going to send you the link for the gray hair game.
Yes, please. And it was
All right.
so nice to meet you, Toni and Adrian. I haven't met you before, so I hope we get together again and be on my channel. Okay, so bye, everybody.
Bye, Sharon.
All right. Thank you so much, Sharon. I love you.
Oh, thank you. It was an honor. Thank you so much.
All right. So Toni and Adrian, how about if you we'll just close this time really up, Kelly?
No, I just said, woo, this screen just switched.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know. If you just, first of all of you in the chat, thank you. Just even the support, the support for Adrian, support for all of us. I was in the Long Man Tarot chat. So this is all these British people who know each other. And I'm like, hey, and, just talking about this community. And, they were just, once I said, oh, my divorce, just so much love here. So much love here for almost strangers, right? But that connection. And so thank you all. Wishing you all a happy Mother's Day and a day filled with divinity and the divine feminine. Adrian and Toni, I turn this over to you.
Toni, do you have words?
Well, all I can, if we can just take a deep breath, everyone. Deep breath in and let it out slowly. and just sort of settle and open yourself up to Mother, Father, God, Ascended Masters, spirits, guides, allies of the highest light. Only those of the highest light. All others are not welcome in this sacred space. May we travel and journey into the space of love and peace and kindness and compassion for each and every person that we meet today and forever throughout our time, the time that we have contracted on this planet. May we give compassion, may we receive compassion. And I place each and every one of you in a circle of protection, and I circle it thrice. 1, 2, 3. And so it is. So let it be.
I'm going to close with a sovereignty command. This is for saying it on behalf of myself, but each person who hears it, it will be for them as well. I command sovereignty over my body, my mind, my spirit, my soul, my emotions, my DNA, and my sacred space for the highest good. By doing that, I activate my sacred medicine wheel, my sacred grids for my highest good. That is it.
And so it is. What an awesome time. Those of you in the chat, thank you so much. If you haven't already, hit the thumbs up. Have a beautiful day. Kelly, Toni, Adrian, I'm trying not to cry and try to speak. I'm just,
Yeah.
just the spirit of the divine feminine in all of you. Just, what a beautiful and precious time. I wish you all a beautiful day. I will end this broadcast. Blessings indeed. Blessings.
Bye, everybody.